and the pendulum swings back the other way. Avs lose to the Nashville Predators 4-1. Just an all-around sloppy game from the Avs, particularly their defense. 2 minutes in, the Avs get their first power play of the game. Don't really do a whole lot with it, including turning the puck over multiple times while trying to walk the blue line. Shortly after that, they take a penalty of their own, but they do manage to kill that one. And for the majority of the first period, both teams were really struggling to get through the neutral zone. Nashville was playing very strong at their own blue line, and the Avs were rarely getting in with possession of the puck. And the same goes for the Avalanche, except for when Nashville did get entry into the zone, the Avs would often struggle getting it back cleanly and not turning it over on the exit out of the zone. The best chance of the period might actually be Josi putting a shot on his own goal. Kerfoot gets a semi-breakaway with a man on him. As he's skating hard up the far side boards, he gets tripped up a little bit by the man. There's no call there. Remember that for later. He then tries to make a pass to the center of the ice to Duchesne, but Josi is right on him. He gets his stick on the puck first and actually flips it right towards Rinne, and Rinne makes a nice save on it. In the last 5 minutes of the first, the Avs do start getting a few more chances and actually some sustained zone time, including an extra power play. And while they were getting some chances, it did feel like they were maybe making one too many passes or trying for the perfect play instead of throwing pucks at the net. Ultimately, the first actually moved very fast with not very many whistles, and there weren't really that many chances either way, so we take it 0-0 into the second period. In the start of the second, it's pretty clear both teams have come out with a little bit more jump in their step, and they're both looking to get that first goal. Then 3.5 minutes in, Colorado draws another power play, and this time they're finally going to manage to capitalize on one. A lucky one here for the Avalanche. McKinnon with the puck is going to walk in a bit, and he's going to be looking to make a pass to Andrighetto in the center of the ice. Andrighetto is going to end up getting his stick lifted by Josi here, but with a little bit of luck, it's going to bounce off of Josi's right skate and right into the net. McKinnon's first goal of the year, and it comes on the power play. As the old adage goes, they don't ask how, they just ask how many. Here's hoping that this can get him going in the goal-scoring category. Alright, so you're thinking the Avs are in a good spot here. They just need to keep on playing a solid game, keep the roughly even possession that it has been up to this point, and it should be a good game. Unfortunately, the rest of the game pretty much becomes a comedy of errors by both the Avalanche and the referees. Just a few minutes after scoring that goal, the Avs give up a 4-on-1, and a ridiculous amount of things have to go wrong for a team to give up a 4-on-1. Problem number 1. Compher has the puck as the Avs are breaking into the zone here. He's going to flub a pass right into the Nashville defender. As he's doing that, we're going to see Erik Johnson is coming down for a pinch. This is just a terrible decision and is extremely late. By the time he's halfway to the puck, it is already clearly in Nashville's possession. At the same time, we have two players, both Colin Wilson and Gabriel Landeskog, crashing the front of the net. Now that in itself isn't a problem. The problem is, now that Nashville has the puck, both of them are completely standing still. Their legs aren't going at all. That leads them to be well behind the play. You combine that with Johnson putting on a weak pinch, and it's a 4-on-1 going back the other way. Zadorov is going to do his best to try and defend, but Forsberg makes a good sauce pass over him, and then Arvidsson beats Varlamov. You can't have four players all making a mistake at the same time and expect to come out unscathed. And the problem here is that's not like it was a bunch of rookies out there. Sure, you can give that to Compher a little bit as an excuse, but the others were Landeskog, Wilson, and Johnson. Particularly Landeskog and Johnson, who have been a part of this team for a long time and are some of the team's best defensive players. They need to be better than that. From there, Nashville starts controlling possession. Eventually, Matt Duchesne ends up taking a penalty for throwing the puck over the glass for the delay of game. And on the ensuing power play, a minute in, Landeskog gets called for a slashing penalty. Was it a weak slash? Yeah, but that's the way they've been calling it, and that's what they're claiming is the way it is in the rulebook, which is true, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. So 50 seconds of 5-on-3, well, you know how this is going to go. The Avs opt for a 2-forward setup on the penalty kill, both Confer and Como. They lose the faceoff, and immediately there's confusion as both players think they're going to be the high man on the puck. Eventually, they get it figured out, but it takes a while and allows Nashville to get fully set up. From there, Nashville's just going to go down to Forsberg. Forsberg, with plenty of space and time, is going to wait out an Eric Johnson trying to cover the cross pass. It comes right to Josi. Josi gets one chance at it as Confer tries to flail at the puck, and then Confer fails to play the man after the shot goes on. He doesn't box out. Rebound comes right back to Josi, and he makes it count this time. Pretty weak penalty kill setup there. You really shouldn't be having confusion like that, and then Confer fails to clear the puck or at least prevent Josi from getting a rebound. But it was a tough situation to begin with, as the Avs taking far too many penalties is starting to become a significant problem, as they have done so in almost every single game so far this season. And then, after that goal, is when the weirdness and poor reffing sets in. The rest of Landeskog's penalty is negated when Nashville takes a penalty of their own. A couple minutes later, the Avs are finally getting some decent zone time, putting some good pressure in close around the net. The puck is bouncing around all over the place. It actually bounces up over the net. A Nashville player whacks it out of midair. It bounces off of Duchesne's helmet and back out in front to Tyson Barrie. He tries to put it on net, but Scott Hartnell has knocked the net off at this point. Now, it's very important to note that Rinne did end up making the save on Barry's shot, and they ended up calling Hartnell for a 2-minute delay of game penalty. Because the puck would have not gone in the net, this is the correct call by the rulebook. Now, if you want to argue that intentionally knocking the net off in an attempt to prevent a goal should be more than a 2-minute minor, I might be inclined to agree with you. But hey, if refs want to do things by the book, then I guess I can accept that. The problem is, they don't continue to do that through the rest of this game. The ensuing power play is immediately squandered by a terrible call. Off the faceoff, Nashville quickly gets the puck up the ice, and Arvidsson is on a partial breakaway with Tyson Barrie covering him. By all accounts of watching the play and watching multiple replays, everything Barrie does is perfectly clean here. He does not hold him at all, and yet the ref calls him for holding. I told you to remember that Kerfoot partial breakaway from the first period where he got tripped up and the refs called nothing. I have no explanation for this one. It's just an incorrect call, period. So that negates the Avs power play, and on the ensuing 4-on-4, the Avs look pretty much terrible. With less than a minute to go in the period, that terribleness would come to haunt them. Nashville's just going to send the puck up the near boards. You have Bigra, who's exiting the frame here, try and make a play on the puck on the near boards. He ends up not only missing the puck, but falling over. That makes him not able to recover, creating a 2-on-1 for Nashville, with Barberio being the defender. Barberio just doesn't figure out the correct positioning here and ends up trying to lay down and protect the pass, but doesn't really actually cover it at all. And Varley's going to end up getting beat by a closing Colton Sissons here. And then we get a little bit of controversy. So the ultimate ruling on this play was that it's a good goal, but it was also charging on Colton Sissons. Now, I want to go on the record that I think this was a good goal all the way, and there should not have been a penalty at all. If you're the puck carrier, you should be able to charge toward the net and make a move and shot to get the puck on net. In fact, Colton Sissons was probably about to try and get out of the way of Varley, but he ends up getting checked by Duchesne. There's also the idea of taking a penalty but scoring a goal at the same time. I'm not going to lie, I didn't really do research here, so I'm not sure of the actual ruling, but it seemed like the puck was put in by the power of the Predators player, and then he took a penalty. So now the question is, did the puck cross the line before he took that penalty? If this was in fact a charging penalty, contact with Varlamov has clearly been made before that puck was across the line. Again, I don't know the official ruling, so this is just an educated guess, but if you take a penalty, you would think you would not be able to score via your own power. Much like on an offsides, if your team is offsides when you shoot the puck into the net, it's not a goal. Now, it may turn out that I'm wrong on that, but again, where I believe this is incorrect is that it shouldn't be a penalty at all. And I just want to bring up that I think the officiating was very poor for both teams in this game. As I talked about earlier, they're doing things like slashing and getting tossed out of the face-off circle by exactly how the rulebook says they should do it, But in other cases, they're not doing that at all. Take cross-checking. There was probably 20 different instances of cross-checking by the rulebook in this game. There were no cross-checking penalties called in this game. You can't pick and choose which ones you're going to call by the rulebook and which ones you're not. It either has to be all of them or the rulebook needs to be fixed. So we're now 7 games into the season, and including this one for Nashville, there have been 5 goal reviews so far. Not a single one has gone completely in the Avs' favor. Maybe you can give them half on that Nashville one because they did call a penalty. Admittedly, the majority of those calls were probably correct, but man, it sure would feel nice if we could get one to go our way. So now the Avs are down 3-1 heading into the third period, and given the ridiculous turn that this game took with the refs affecting it so much, I didn't really have a whole lot of hope for it. I do have to admit the Avs came out strong for the first part of the third. They were trying to make a counter push and get themselves back into this game, but they couldn't find a goal, and 4 minutes in, they end up getting buried. EJ's going to lose a race for the puck into the corner, and the puck is then going to eventually come up and out to the far side point. As it goes there, you can see all 5 Avalanche players are looking at the puck. They all just forget about the near side of the ice and start moving towards the side with the puck. The puck's going to get shot off the backboards, bounce off extremely hard, and with no one paying attention to the backside, comes right out to Austin Watson, and he has an easy tap in. And that crushes the Avs' spirits. The rest of the game was pretty much just the Avs going through the motions, aside from a little chippiness and a bit of strange penalty calling thrown in as well. On the one hand, yeah, this was a really tough game with a lot of sloppiness, and particularly the veterans need to clean it up and keep themselves out of the penalty box. On the other hand, it's a young team. There were young mistakes from players like Bigra and Comfer. That's going to happen. Probably a lot this year, so we shouldn't be too surprised when games like this do come up for the Avs. The key here is not to make this a consistent pattern. They need to have games where they bounce back and play solidly like they did against Anaheim 2 games ago. Inconsistency is one thing, but it's a whole lot better than being consistently bad. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. The Avs will be back at it on Thursday, and then they have 4 days off after that, so we get a little bit of a break as the Avs are going to be getting a lot of in the coming weeks. I'm Rudo3, and with the NHL, please figure out what they're doing with the rules.